to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the strongest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. I got around the voice to be trusted. And the fire above this city. I won't let this sink. We are going to step through the barricade and break the walls of the That's what we're doing. Won't let them take me down. I know that. Amen, amen, amen. This is me. I just so love that song. I just really, truly just love that song. Mm-mm-mm. And thank you, people, for joining us for another edition of Chat and Chew. Chat and Chew is a ministry of MCC Baltimore, and it's an interview show that normally seen on the first Sunday of the month between 12 and 1 p.m. We discuss a myriad of topics, usually of concern to LGBT plus community and our allies. It's called Chat and Chew because we'll be snacking, trying to give the ambiance of two friends eating, sharing a meal and just talking. It's not a boring conversation thing. We just talk about a topic that I find interesting, that I hope you'll find as interesting as well. All right? So before we get started, please pray with me. Oh, Heavenly Creator, Lord, I just thank and praise you one more time for this ability to hit the airwaves, Lord, the video waves, the virtue waves. Be with us. May people be inspired and enlightened and draw closer to you. Amen. 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 Well, today is like old home week for me because our guest is a minister from MCC Baltimore. She will be sharing with us her experiences in starting a nonprofit called PJ Safe Haven. Please welcome Minister Angelia ScottKees.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Minister Angie.
Hi, Minister Lee. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you stated, my name is Minister Angelia ScottKees. I am a member of Metropolitan Community Church of Baltimore. My other ministry that I hold dear to my heart is Hands of Praise. That's our sign language ministry. I'm children, and my family. I hold dear to my heart. I am an educator, nonprofit, which is taking a lot of leg work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you so much, Minister Angie. And I'm so looking forward to listening of exactly what is PJ PJ Safe Haven. I love the title. I really truly love the title. You know, and I remember the time when we were in a meeting and you just talked briefly about it, and it was like I was so in awe because I basically used to work around nonprofits, and I know the time and the energy it takes to get something lift off the ground. And I was just really amazed in all you do, and you still have time to do this. So I wanted to share with the community exactly what it is, and let people know, they're there, and there are other people. Hopefully, we can inspire some other people to do some nonprofit stuff, and let them know, get like a little toe in the water of what to expect. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Minister Lee. To answer your question, you asked, what is PJ Safe Haven, right?
Mm-hmm.
PJ Safe Haven is an up and coming youth residency for youth between the ages of 14 and are homeless and need some safety. So that is what the overall umbrella of PJ's house will be. They will be able to live here, eat here. They will be transported to and from school from here. They will be able to get to therapy and everything that is entailed within recovery.
Mm-hmm.
They will be able to get in the house, right? Under the leadership of peer advocacy and people that will have set in place to help these young
Wow.
people on their road of recovery so that when they are ready to move out, their recovery will be successful, even from under our roof. They will be a recovery success, for lack of a better word, when it's time for them to move on. Yep.
Wow. That's a population I never really considered. You know, I never really considered, and I'm so glad and thankful that you did. Um, and who was PJ?
PJ is actually my mother, or
Oh, okay.
is my mother. She has since died. She has been dead now for, my son is 24 years. But she too had a substance abuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting from a very young age. So
Hmm.
that's what made me think about she would have been able, to come out of, because she tried recovery after recovery after recovery
Mm-hmm.
after recovery, but it was, and so that's why I am gearing towards recovery and how to live after you get to live without somebody hovering over top of you. You can do this. You know, once you are on your own, like once they leave from my house, once they leave PJ Safe Haven.
Oh, cool. Cool. Awesome. 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 All right. So, because we were having a little bit of technical difficulties there, so it was your mom who gave you the idea to start this endeavor?
No, my mom's story,
Oh, your
my
mom's.
mom's legacy
Okay.
is who gave me the idea of this house. I don't know if you heard before, my mom was unfortunately an addict for a really, really long time. But and she tried recovery and it never worked, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even in her addiction, she always helped young people who was also in some
Oh.
type of addiction, and she will allow them to stay in her home if they were put out of their house.
Oh,
But
okay.
there was no there was no recovery going on there. Everybody was just using, right?
Right,
So
right.
the idea of taking people in came from her, but the recovery is going to start here. You know, you're not coming here
Amen.
to
Right.
continue in your stuff. You're going to come here for recovery, and what it looks like to be a productive society of community
Hmm.
outside of your addiction and how to live outside of your addiction. So that's what you're going to learn in PJ's Safe Haven.
Wow. Wow, that is awesome. Um, when did you first come up with this? I mean, how long did it take you to go from here's a thought, here's an idea to where you are today?
A whole bunch of years, Minister Lee. I sat on this idea, I know, for at least 15 years. I actually thought about it when my mom passed away
Hmm.
because I thought about my question was to my grandmother, where are all of those young people that was living with my mom because they were homeless, right?
Hmm.
So where are they now? What are they doing now? How are they surviving now? They don't have they so that was the thought was in my mind.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
And then I would think about one sister. She was an addict for, starting at the age of 14, and this, and you know, her no longer having my mother. All of those people in my path that could help take my thought and dream as I actually started putting in the legwork about a year ago, and now it's ready to become a reality.
Wow. 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 Well, that's really quite remarkable. you know, um, to 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 have it done so close and so fast. I know it's been an incredible journey for you, and I think with all nonprofit things, there were many times you feel like throwing in the towel. What
Mm-hmm.
what made you keep on persevering?
As I stated, I am a Baltimore City school teacher, right?
Hmm.
And I teach middle school. And I unfortunately have young people come into class under the influence of whatever it is
Wow.
they took that morning, rather been a pill, rather been a blunt, So I see it firsthand in my students, when I am a social media stalker to my students, and I will, if I don't see them in class in a few days, I'll go stalk their social media pages, and I see what they're doing, and I get their parents calling me, put them out, and they have this substance abuse with. So that was another reason why I had to take off and running. I didn't have time to drag my feet. I actually had to put my roller skates on and kind of skate through this really quickly, because I see it. There is no downtime. There is no timeout. There is no, I want to throw in the towel and then
Mm-hmm.
change my mind 3 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to start and mean it, right? So we're ready to move forward. The house has actually been approved to take people in right now, and I just the house is the house to where I reside with my family. So we have to move. So once we move, we can actually start getting residents. So it's just a matter of me now
Wow.
moving family to a different residence.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm I'm blown away because you have taken this to a whole nother level. You know, um, a lot of times people I'm trying to say this politically correctly. Sometimes people do things in the church, but you don't see anything outside of the church. They're doing wonderful things in the church, and it's beautiful. It's great to see that, but you never see that much behind, outside the four walls. And I am just amazed to see that. That is, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Again, I helped with starting some 501c3s around HIV services,
Mm-hmm.
and it was painful. The
Yeah.
process
Mm-hmm.
was painful because it seems like there's somebody somewhere who just likes to go, okay, go two steps forward, now take one step back. Now
Yeah.
I know I told you to go right, but
Yeah.
really I want you to take immediate left. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like overly, it was frustrating for no reason. So to get to where you are, my hand is just off to you because it's amazing. It's amazing. And I'm thinking how, when you say yes, to God, and you start putting the plan in action, it just it grows. It grows so fast. It comes into fruition so fast.
Yeah.
Um, if you had one piece of advice to suggest someone,
I actually, Minister Lake,
uh-huh.
I was saying that when I kept saying, not now, God, it's not time, God. And God kept saying, but it is time. It's been time. I've given you this. I've dropped this in your spirit years ago. And for whatever reason, you did your own thing. I'm not allowing you to sit on this anymore. He put so many people for me to partner with in my path that I had no more excuses, right? And so it was people who've been there, done that. So this is what oh no, you don't have to do that, just do this. You don't have to do this, all you need is this. I'm going to pair you up with this person, so this person is going to help you. It's like everything that I needed, God had put all of those
Mm,
players on the board for me,
mhm.
that even if I decided if I'm going to turn left because I don't want to do this anymore, okay, now this person is here. If I wanted to take two steps forward, then there's no, so it's that whole thing. It's a lot. God placed everything and everybody that I needed for this to be a success. The only problem was my biggest hindrance at the time was COVID, right?
Mhm.
Turning my paperwork in, making sure that Baltimore City had my paperwork, the state of Maryland had my paperwork, because everything was awaiting. Did they get it? I haven't received anything yet. Did they get it? So nobody's calling me. What's going on?
Mm,
And then you call, and then you're on hold for 45 minutes. Oh, my lunch break is over. I got to go back and teach these kids. Right. So now I got to hang up, although I only got 5 more minutes of waiting time, but I got to go back and teach. So that was my biggest hurdle, was being COVID, and I couldn't deliver my paperwork myself. Everything had to be done either by mail or on the computer. And then there was still a huge waiting game because, as you know, everybody was working from home. So I believe that during this whole process, that was my biggest holdup. So.
wow. And in my head, I had never even considered what you had to go through with COVID, and I'm thinking about the inspections and whatnot, and how does that happen during COVID? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is just remarkable. That is truly, truly remarkable. So I know you said you're waiting for um, you to get your place so you can open up your house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think the timeline is for that?
I
Because
I am I am pushing for June. I'm pushing for June, Minister. I have been looking at houses for a really, what seems like forever for me. I'm so over it. I'm ready, like, just, we're gonna live whatever at this point, right? but it's just the making sure that everybody in my family is comfortable with the
Mm-hmm.
area, the house, the everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pushing for June. So that's what we are now. We're pushing for June. We're
Good.
pushing to be out at the end of May and having bodies in the house by June.
Right, right, right. I'm excited about I'm just waiting for the ribbon cutting ceremony. I just want to be in the background. Just
I'm sure you're gonna be here, Minister.
wow. I mean, I am just so touched by this. And, so for the folks who are watching, how can they contact you for like more information? What can they do to assist you? Is there a phone number? Is there a website? How can they get in touch with you?
There is a phone number. My phone number is. Do I just give it here, Minister Lee?
If you're comfortable.
Okay, I'm okay. My email address is lengthy. It's aangiesgrho@gmail.com. That will be changed in the near future. We're getting a handle for the program now, and I'm actually getting that approved so that we can start with that using the handle for our email. And so the best way to probably reach me right now to help to whatever you feel like you want to volunteer or whatever the case may be will be through email. And I will make sure that Minister Lee gets the handle. Hopefully it'll be ready tomorrow, Minister Lee. And we'll be ready to rock and roll with that website. I have somebody working on that now. Like I said, this all like happened so quickly. Like I thought in my mind I still had time. Although although I kept hearing God saying, you do not have time. I need you to move. Although everything was moving quickly, it's just little things like I still got time. This isn't going to go that fast. I still have time. And now the time is down and we're here. And now I'm working on something as simple as my website, and my logo, right? That should have been like the first thing I worked on, right? But I guess I worked backwards. But my logo is waiting for my approval right now, sitting in my email, and my website, it's being created right now as well. So hopefully those things will be ready as of at the end of the business week next week. And I definitely will need volunteers. I mean, these are young people, right? So we're going to need volunteers, people to come in and talk to them, to motivate them, especially people who are in recovery themselves, or allies, right? I was never in an addiction, but I'm an ally because although I never partaked of it, I was in it. I watched my mother, I watched my grandmother, I watched my sister, I watched my aunt. So I was in it as well, right? So I'm with that, I'm an ally. So I see the effect of it. I see the kids who know I didn't touch it but it was in my house. It's right here. So I had to get therapy as well to move past what I saw, to move past the lights being off, to move past instead of my mom fixing us breakfast, she decided to get high. I had, so we'll need all of those people in place to come in and talk to the kids to the outcome. You can be successful. So we will definitely need volunteers, people that sit in a position of peer recovery coaches. We'll need all of those people in place to this program to be successful, because it would truly be a community-based program.
Wow. You keep blowing me away. You keep blowing me away because I certainly had that in my family. I think we all had that in our families. And it seems like you either have a choice of either just, wanting to help or just severing all ties and trying to act like I don't want to be anything to do with this world. And again, my hat's off because it's not an easy world. It's not an easy world, and to choose to be an ally, because I think at the end of the day, that I think that is underneath everything, underneath racial things, or against sexual things. I think nothing will happen until we all become allies to one another. Whatever your goal is and whatever your thing is, once we start becoming allies,
Mhm.
and is change will happen. Change will have to happen. So I'm taking my hat off to you. I am just, I don't know, because one of the things that I didn't want to do, I purposely did not ask you a whole lot of stuff. Once you said yes to this, I didn't want to say yes to a whole lot of things and act like I know the answers to this, that, and the third. I wanted this to be my first time, and I am just in awe of all the things you do. This is, and it's not like trying to blow smoke or anything. It is just truly amazing. It is truly, truly remarkable. And you're a student. I don't think you mentioned you were a student.
No, I am. I actually, Minister Lee, I should have been, or well, under the impression that I was graduating in May. But in undergrad, I didn't take two reading courses that all teachers must take, right? And partly is because my bachelor's degree is in business of administration and not education.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, this summer I have to take two reading courses before I'm finished. So yes, I am a teacher. I am a student who thought I was graduating in May, but will not be graduating until September, I believe. And I am not happy about it, but it is what it is. It's just two reading courses, and then I'll be finished.
And it's good. It's all good. It's all good. Everything happens for a reason. And sometimes God gives us little respite
For a
things
reason.
that we don't necessarily see as respite, but it
Mm-mm.
gives us a time to just focus on something else for a while, just to get our wheels start grinding again. Um, so where for how do young people get into the system? How do they have to have a case manager make a referral, or how do they get there?
Yes, normally it will be case manager making a referral or another organization making a referral. So you have like peer-to-peer places like that. I Can Reach One, Teach One. They can make referrals as well. And if the young person fit the qualifications, and what I mean by fit the qualifications, okay, yes, you have an addiction, but do you really want to become clean?
Hmm.
What's your ultimate goal? So there will be a intake interview, for lack of a better word, because we
Hmm.
want to see where their head is. Because I mean, my house can only hold 11 beds, right?
Hmm.
So I don't want to give three of those beds away for people that are not serious. And then I got three knocking on my door that
Hmm.
really need the bed, and we have kids in a program that's not serious.
Right.
So there will be an intake interview, and we'll go from there. If a young person is not really serious about their recovery, there are other programs in the city that I can refer them to. They just won't be able to stay here.
Yeah, good. That is good. It's good to know where your niche is. Um, I'm looking at different groups of people in my head and trying to figure out, okay, how does this person get there? We haven't set up the volunteer thing yet, because I want I want a number just specifically for the volunteers, because now I'm feeling like I need to go out and recruit some people. for you.
Oh, please do. Please do. Yes, I definitely feel like I need to get an alternate phone number just for this. So that is in the making as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it'll be separate from my personal stuff. So
Right.
because I'm learning now how to balance that, because some stuff was overlapping and I didn't have a happy wife for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to, learn how to keep that balance. And anybody who has started anything, regardless, any brand new anything,
Mm-hmm.
it can overtake your time even without you realizing it, right? So now that it has been brought to my attention, I know that I have to make some changes, and switch some things up,
Mm-hmm.
so that everything is kind of balanced.
Right. You have to make sure that everyone is happy.
Yeah.
And everybody's on one accord. Another thing, when I was thinking about the volunteers, just to just to pass on to you because I'm not trying to do it. One of the things I used to do is put together training programs for different, and it was like, volunteers come in all shapes and sizes, some with a lot of attitude, a lot of knowledge, some with totally nothing. We got,
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Bessie, who I just really want to make cookies for the babies. That's all I want to do. I feel God telling me, make cookies for the babies.
Right.
And you got to make sure that even though whatever they volunteer to do, that they know the rules and just stuff. So I was
And the
like,
language,
right,
and yep, because
that
that's
is,
all. Everybody have to know what they can and can't do, what they can and cannot say.
mm-hmm,
Also, they have to, volunteers have to be okay, with doing a background check,
mm-hmm,
because this program is going to be federally funded.
mm-hmm,
So with that, it had, anybody who works or volunteers for the program have to be comfortable with doing a
mm-hmm,
background check. Not my rules, the federal government's rules, right?
mm-hmm,
Um, so that's the whole. I think I need to throw that out right now for anybody
mm-hmm,
that's listening and thinking, I want to volunteer with this program.
mm-hmm.
Please understand that you will have to pass a background check. So.
True. And it's not, I mean, you're dealing with underage populations, and
Mm-hmm.
it has to happen. I
Yeah.
mean, it has to occur. And I'm quite sure that once people think about that for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
because no matter, how we do things with the best of intention, there are always some wolves somewhere looking to come in and to devour, particularly when they see people changing from a negative to a positive. So
Right.
I'm glad that that's there. I am so great that that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there something else that you wanted to talk about that I haven't asked?
Um, Let me think.
Mm-hmm. Take your
um, I think that, um, that we all need to understand that this epidemic is huge, right?
time.
It's bigger than what we think it is. Um, and now the whole thing is the young people taking pills that do not belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
And because they are not sniffing or shooting the pill, the drug, they don't feel that they're addicts. That's our biggest dilemma with young people. They think if I'm popping a pill, then I'm not an addict. And what I'm trying to get them to see, and what all of the other programs are trying to get them to see, if the prescription doesn't belong to you, then you shouldn't be taking it, and that makes you an addict.
Right.
If you are mishandling that prescription, and they're all gone before they should be all gone,
Mm-hmm.
then you're mishandling that prescription and you're an addict.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing. And the opiates that are laced with the fentanyl and all of that, it is killing our young people at a much higher rate than it's killing other geographic people, you know. And so that's the other thing. And our young people are more reluctant to seeking help than other people as well. So we're dying faster and we're not getting the help. So the thing is getting the young people to see, yes, I have a problem. Right. And yes, I need help. And the help might not be inpatient facility. Help might be, you know, a day outpatient facility, but just to get them to see that they need the help, and finding that somebody that they can trust. That's the other key that's important to fixing this problem, because it's a huge problem. We have started, and the age is really 8, right? That these young people are getting hooked. That's the real. But at 12, it becomes horrible. At 12, it becomes evident. So that 12 to 21 is when we're trying to get them so that they could turn their life around. It broke my heart to see statistically we have 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds that are, you know, on drugs or whatever the case may be. And that breaks my heart as well. But I don't think that I can serve as an 8-year-old right now. They need a lot of different type of help that I'm not ready for yet. I plan to get there. Trust me, I plan to get there. But right now I'm focusing on this lane, right? But like again, if everybody will understand that if you're taking a prescription that does not belong to you, and you are buying those prescriptions at $5 to $10 a piece, then you probably have an addiction. If you are, and these young people smoking weed 3 or 4 blunts in a day isn't it? If you wake up in the morning and the first thing you pick up is weed, then you have addiction. So people to understand what addiction looks like, because their addiction don't look like their grandfather's addiction. They're not snorting anything. They're not shooting up. So that's what they have in their mind, and their image of addiction looks like. That, you know, so we got to train them and change their mindset. Across the board, across the state of Maryland, especially in the cities of Baltimore.
I was just again thinking about COVID, and because of COVID, many students aren't going to the physical building of school.
Right.
So how, you know, it's just that much easier to be, you know, high all day long, and no one really notice, because there is no there are no Minister Angies in the classroom looking at you. You know, you're home behind a computer, and it's just so easy now. I never thought about it, but it's really, really easy now for kids just to be wasted all day, and no one ever know, because parents are working. They're home alone.
Yep. That's the biggest problem right there. Kids are being left alone to their own devices because mom and dad has to work, or you know, and it is, and they, a lot of parents like to blame themselves when they find out, but kids are the master of disguises, right? We will only know what they want us to know until we figure it out. Right. Not, you know, your kid is not gonna pull out Oxy and pop it in front of you. You know, 9 times out of 10, they got to figure it out. It's going to be in my system for this amount of time. So I got to take it from this time and have my life together. By the time mom comes home at 5:30, and now I am her sweet 12-year-old again. Until the mood swings come in and mom figure out something is going on. Because after a while, the mood swings will come. And then mom and dad or auntie and uncle, whomever, will figure out something is going on. But by that time, there's a huge addiction, and now they got to build back from that. Yep.
Yeah. And I think also, as you said, with aunties and uncles, you know, it during times like this, it truly takes a village. It truly takes a village because everybody. It's a new time. It's a new. We're all learning new ways to live and whatnot. But we also have to get out of the being so much of an individual in a sheltered place, but still have a watchful eye on our babies. Still, even though we can't hardly maneuver as well as we used to, we got to learn how to use the technology to make sure we are watching the babies. We got to watch them. We got to watch them.
Yep. And it's I remember when my boys are all grown up now, right? But I remember when they were younger, and in order for them to have a Facebook account, because that was a huge thing, a Facebook account, I had to have their passcode to get into their Facebook account. I just tried it the other day, and neither of them changed it, right? So I could just kind of filter through all of their messages if I chose. But that's the kind of, we have to be vigilant in what our children are doing. I just shared, I have my oldest grandchild, she's 5, and she has a tablet, and she's always on TikTok, and she's always on this, and she's 5, so she's very impressionable. So I am constantly having conversations, of course, on her level about what she just saw or what she just imitated or why it's not appropriate, because regardless of how much I say, please don't watch it, she's going to watch, especially when you have in 2 different houses, right? One room, one set of rules, another set of rules. So we all have to be vigilant and watching and have open and honest conversations with our children, even if it hurt, even if it's uncomfortable. We have to keep that line of communication open so that our children will feel comfortable with coming to us and having those heartfelt conversations, so we'll know how to help them.
Very true, very true. I'm having flashbacks to when I was that age, in that age group, and only by the grace. only by the grace.
Only by.
Because I was telling someone about when I was in the 7th grade, there was a teacher strike, and I think the teacher strike lasted like a month or 2 months. And there were very few sober days in them 2 months. And I'm just thinking, if that had multiplied that times another 6, oh, it would have been another way. It definitely would have been another way with me and my family, because my family was really tight knit, so I hung out with a lot of cousins, and it was like if we had COVID back then, I don't think none of us would have made it. I don't think so. I don't think so.
So that's all I wanted to share. Is just if we could be vigilant, even if it's not your babies. It's just kids in the community. Keep an eye on them, And I'm not saying go and talk to anybody's kids, but if you see something, say something.
Exactly.
Because as we stated in the beginning, this is a community work. Keeping our kids sober and safe. This is a community work. We have a lot of one-parent homes that, like we stated, that they're working 10, 12 hours home a lot. So we have to keep an eye on each other's babies,
We do.
Just to keep them safe. And it looks good to them. It's on every video. You can't turn on a video and not somewhere smoking a blunt. It's in all of the rap songs now about popping mollies and let's get high, and just out there. It's no longer hidden. I remember when I was a little kid, people were getting high, but it was hidden. It's just out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Parents just walking down the street smoking weed in front of their kids, and these kindergartners are talking about it like that's the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's their norm, it's nothing for them to pick up a blunt at 8 or 10 and
Mm-hmm.
start smoking, because I figured out how to roll by the time I was 7 from watching my mommy and my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a pro at this. And then, so by the time they're 8, they're smoking blunts. And now by the time they're 12, they're looking for something else. So we have to be vigilant in our babies' lives, even if they're not our babies.
True, true, true. I had a I had a wild experience because again, back in my day, it was people smoke reefer, marijuana, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I was with a young one. And it was one of my cousin's nieces, whatever. I mean, I just barely knew the young lady. She was about 10,
Mm-hmm.
and we were walking in a mall through the mall. We were at Mondawmin, walking across the parking lot, going to the mall, and there was somebody smoking marijuana. I knew it was marijuana. She told me what kind of marijuana it was from the smell. And
Oh,
I was
wow.
just like, oh, I was having truly an oh my God moment that I was like,
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten to this point now where, I mean, I get it now, and we have um, dispensaries and whatnot, and they have different brands, but kids are now knowing the different types. And it's like, wow, do we ever have to be vigilant? Because it's just not just some endo thing when I was a kid. It's a whole lot of things now.
Whole lot, whole lot. It's a tough situation. And then again, it's all about people do not view weed as a drug, right?
Hmm.
They don't think weed is a drug. So if only thing I'm doing is smoking weed, then I am not um then I'm not an addict of
Right,
whatever,
right,
because it's weed.
right.
So that's the type of stuff. And then it's so casually, like you just said, introduced to kids, that at 10, I can tell you the difference between loud and purple just
Mm,
by the way it smells, right?
right.
They're the only two I know, so they're the only two I called out. Um so if that's all I can tell you that at 10, imagine what her structure at home looks like, or whom, I don't want to say at home, the
Hmm.
people that she's around,
Exactly,
what that
exactly,
looks like, because it
exactly,
doesn't have to be at home. It could be at a cousin's house. It could be with the
exactly. A
friends
neighbor.
that she's associated, right?
Right.
So I don't want to offend anybody, so I
No,
had to
no,
clean that up
no,
right fast.
no. It's all right.
So that's what their structure looks like. And so we got to change that mindset of what drug abuse look like, what alcoholism look like, what all of those things look like. The process have to be undone in their minds in order for this program to work.
Wow. You know, you're giving me so much to think about right there. I never thought about the gate. I mean, because I know we talk about gateway drugs, and yeah, marijuana is a gateway drug when you're 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you're smoking marijuana when you're 8, I mean, it's not going to be a safe thing. All it is you're going to get something harder by the time you a year older. I mean, it's
Right.
just that simple. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. Again, I take my hat off to you, Minister.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow.
Keep us in prayer.
Oh, I'm going to be praying. No, I'm definitely going to have to keep you in prayer because this, I mean, it's a ministry and it's
Yes.
needed. It is so needed in our communities. And I take my hat off to you because, again, there are many who talk the talk. There's few
Mm-hmm.
that walk the walk. And I'm just in awe that you're walking that walk. And and I take my hat off to your family because you're not walking that walk alone.
No,
You can't
no.
walk that walk alone.
Mm-mm.
So my hat
I
off to you and the
yeah,
family. No.
I had them out 2 Saturdays straight in volunteer work, and yesterday they was like, don't fill up my next Saturday, So um and so that's that's what my life is going to look like right from here on out, and I have made peace with that, and I am ready to make this work. Like I had a one-on-one, I will not call her name, conversation with this student on yesterday, and she was like, my parents think if they don't give me my allowance, I won't buy weed, but they just haven't figured out that their weed stash is getting smaller. So it's like, you're in the seventh grade, sweetheart. You that not should not be what's on your mind. So of course I had a different type of conversation with her, and I'll keep talking with her. But seventh grade, that's what I'm talking about, Minister Lee. Seventh grade. This is a
Mhm.
conversation I have with a seventh grader, and whose parents are trying to figure out how to get her to stop smoking, but meanwhile they're smoking, so
Mhm.
they don't realize that that's the generational thing. This is what she watches. Children imitate us, our kids imitate us. Our kids are no This generation is no longer the do as I say generation.
Mhm.
They are the do, I'm going to do what you do generation,
Mhm.
right? Our parents could say to us, don't smoke cigarettes, and we would generally listen. Although my father smoked, I never picked up a cigarette, right? Because he told me not to,
Mhm.
right? But these kids they're not from that cloth. They're going
Right.
to do exactly what they see you do. And that's what the story is. This is what I'm seeing. So this is what I'm doing. They're trying to stop me, but I figured out a way to still get what I want. And so that is just going to be a whole another can of worms. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, what do I, as a peer counselor, have to do for her? First thing I have to do is remove her from that situation,
Mhm.
right? Remove her from her home situation, and now let's work.
True, true, true. And you got to educate the people because a lot of times people aren't aware of what their behaviors are really doing. They're really not.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Right.
looking at their own self-interest. I worked hard. I did my 40. I did 45 hours this week. And if I choose to
Mm-hmm.
do this, it's and it's like, but babe, you got other people watching you. You got little
Watching.
faces watching you. And
Yeah.
that's because you've grown. Don't mean you can do it and they can't. They just see it as, oh, something else, another goal for them to achieve.
Yeah.
Minister,
Yep.
minister, minister. Okay, I'm gonna have to wind this up now because
Okay.
it's been a long day and you've blown my mind. you know, you, you you've blown my mind. I have so many things to think about now that I hadn't really. I kind of knew but didn't know, and it was like, and I again when I was with the little 10-year old, I was just like, that's just odd. But I'm in my head, I was like, she's just an odd 10-year old. And I'm thinking now, no, she ain't that odd. She probably is the
Mm-mm.
norm.
That's the
It's
norm
just
now.
that we just haven't paid that much. We haven't paid attention.
Yeah,
And
that's the norm.
I grew up in a time just when it became an individualized thing. It was no longer you had to worry about Miss Susie down the street and Mr. Owl across the corner. There was a time in my parents' age when the whole neighborhood watched you and raised you, and I came out of the time when it got to be
Yep.
don't touch my children, don't say
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
We got to get back to that time. you know, we
Yeah.
truly have to get back to that.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Angie. And somewhere, I know there's a Minister Ray somewhere with my song. I know she got my song. I can barely hear that. This is